Soldiers of Gondor, no matter what comes through that gate, you will stand your ground.
There is a tempest in me.
I hate my life. Doing this for you guys. For you. Not me.
I will kill all of you!
Let's see here. Want to see something hilarious? Want to see something that's just the epitome of what this show is, really. Where is it? Where is it? Gosh dang, where did I put it?
2 hours later.
There it is, I found it. I found it! How much longer? This is a chore to get through. I literally wrote that. Like, are we living in a different reality where watching an epic fantasy film placed in the fantastical world of J.R.R. Tolkien is now a chore to get through?
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
I would almost rather watch anything else than continue to watch The Rings of Prime. It is grueling and an absolute burden, to say the least, to get through. I literally can't believe that these words are even coming my mouth. At no point in time, except for in the past few months, did I ever believe that I would dread going to the world of Middle-earth on the big screen.
You did this to me!
That is what The Rings of Poop has done to me. I now would rather watch two friggin' weasels fornicate behind a garbage dump than continue to watch this pish. But I truly would not be able to call myself a Tolkien enthusiast if I decided to not take in every single piece of media set in Tolkien's world. And also, I'm not a pansy!
Because I'm not a fucking pussy.
When I start something, I intend to finish it, damn it! Hopefully we will only have to suffer with this show for one more season, and then it will be cancelled. That is the best case scenario. People say, don't you want to see more Middle-earth on the screen?
Nah, I'm cool.
Personally, I would rather it just be left alone. The talent needed to write a well-written and faithful adaptation of Tolkien is no longer in the field, writers. It was possible 20 years ago, but the market of cinema has become too big, too mainstream, and too saturated with politics to give way to any kind of creative storytelling anymore. It all has to be popular rather than good. And with that, let's talk about episode 4, shall we? Gotta hydrate before I go through bullcrap. Probably one of the stronger things of The Rings of Power has going for it is its cast, which is not surprising. Actors will most likely be good at what they're doing because it is their career on the line with any piece of entertainment that they do, so they will most likely be some of the stronger points in any film that they star in. There are obviously glaring exceptions, of course. The actors I'm talking about are Tristan Gravel as Pharazôn, Owain Arthur as Durin, even though there are some moments where he is completely insufferable, and Lloyd Owen as Elendil. They seem to be really well-grounded actors that make me hate the show just a little bit less when they're on screen. I will also say that little Disa, played by Sophia Nomvit, is still quite adorable. I'm getting the vibes of a sweet little auntie that fills those who come by to her home with like a great feast, and you know, like she like gets offended if you don't call on her when you're passing by. Yes, her character does do some stupid, idiotic things in this episode, but she's still pretty likable.
It is acceptable.
Then, this obviously goes without saying, as well. Beautiful shots, beautiful music, stuff that will make the equivalent of a human seal clap their flappies all day and call the show good just based off of whenever it's on screen, really. Like, it's good if it looks good, right? That's what the seals do. Simple minds really do have simple pleasures. But also, they portrayed Durin III as a good father to Durin IV, which, while I've said breaks the mythos, like, it's kind of crazy that there's even a good father figure in any TV show nowadays, with how much man-hating and feminism that is just rifling through the streets. Having a good father figure in Hollywood is like Leonardo DiCaprio actually caring about the environment and riding his bike everywhere rather than just using a private jet to get everywhere comfortably.
Idiot.
It doesn't happen. Hollywood is allergic to good father figures, and it was really nice to see it change, besides the fact that, again, like I said, it goes completely against the mythos of the character and Tolkienian lore. And last but not least, the best part about this episode was the complete lack of Harfoots in it.
I know
There were none to be seen, and I was very happy about that fact. Whoever directed this episode was a genius for not making us endure any more with the imposter psychotic hobbits that we needed to.
Thank you, Jesus!
Harfoots make me want to peel my own eyeballs open and dip them into lemons. Oh, and the effects surrounding the illusion of the Palantir were pretty cool as well. Now, on to the part that you all know is coming, the death roll into madness. This was always something that was quite prominent in every episode before, but the Rings of Patty Cake is cliche AF. Capital A, capital F. Now, with the world being so saturated with storytelling, obviously it's really hard to make content that is original. But Rings of Plot Convenience is cliche in every single one of its contrived story plot, which it also has way too many of, by the way.
Too much of it, darling, too much.
Although it does track perfectly well that the writers would put storylines and plot points from other movies and works of media into their story rather than write their own good stuff. They profess that they had to fill in the gap of Tolkien's world because there was so little to work with in the rights to the works that they have.
That's bullshit!
And then they show that their only way of filling in the gaps was to put in cliche, boring, bland, been done 100 times narratives. Let's count them out, shall we? Ruler of country sees the destruction of her kingdom in her sleep, wakes up terrified, leading her to try countering her dreams that will inevitably cause her dreams to come to fruition in a mad twist of fate. White guy seeking power is very obviously going to lead a rebellion against the wise and powerful queen while she's away. Outspoken main character gets thrown into prison because only she can see the truth, trying to warn the queen of impending doom. Counterfeit Eowyn is being pushed around at school and is headstrong towards one guy that is nice to her. Maybe there might be a lovey-dovey here. Yay. People forced from home, so don't have food, so rambunctious and overzealous son will go get food in dangerous territory where he will obviously run into trouble. Obvious build-ups for jump scares when in the burned down village because we need to get the audience's blood pumping again with scary scenes of just barely dodging the enemy to be saved at the last minute. Headstrong son disagrees with older, wiser father, but plans to go behind his back anyway. Gracious queen won't help in war effort. All hope seems to be lost, but at the last minute, queen changes her mind, leaving episode with big off-to-war cliffhanger. All these storylines have been done in superior films, and done much better, I might add.
You're not special!
The depth and breadth into originality and captivating storytelling seems to be about as deep as a puppy piss puddle. Even when you guys have this absolute paramount world to make your stories in, you guys are only able to write the equivalent of a piece of drab white bread.
You done messed up, Aaron!
It's all been done before. Write something different, will you? If you are going to just discount all of the lore at every turn, at least make something that isn't stale and bland and an absolute chore to get through in every way. You guys really are wearing your experience on your sleeves in open view for everyone to see, aren't you?
You've done nothing!
Man, we're only a little bit in. I'm dehydrated AF right now. First of all, why is Muriel seeing all of these visions of destruction? Is it just through the ethereal powers that may be? Are the gods of Middle-earth maybe connecting with her on a more powerful level? Or maybe is it just happening for the sole purpose of moving the plot forward and to give her a fabricated conflict to have a resentment towards Galadriel? I think you know what my answer is going to be. This plot point that is put in place also has no impact on the storyline because she just decides to go help Karen Ladriel anyway.
What's the point?
What's the point? We spent an entire episode jumping over all of the hurdles, stopping Dumbo Muriel from helping Karen Ladriel, and then in the last 2 minutes, all of the intrigue was for nothing, because it just happens anyway.
Stupid is, stupid does, sir.
Oh, we just gonna help cause the pedals fell off the tree and stuff. The entire plot of this episode was resolved in 30 seconds, making the entire 4th episode completely obsolete. You just wasted all of my time and all of your viewers' time, dragging out a contrived scenario that could have been completely skipped over.
90% of the time, I have no idea what the I'm talking about.
Are you guys just making this crap up as you go along? It's frustrating to know that no stakes actually matter in the story that you're telling.
Life is pointless and nothing matters, and I'm always tired.
Wonderful. Just wonderful. Nothing to get invested in because we're just winging it at this point, fellas. The other thing that is leading to so many cliches in this story is that there are way too many characters and separate story plots. Gee whiz, guys, like adding more characters into a story because the story you're telling with your main characters is boring as hell is not a good strategy at all.
That is not great.
It sucks.
I do not care about Iarian and her stupid cliche love spiel. It is boring, and Iarian is not a likable character. Just like basically every other female character in this show. She's a block of wood and has no emotion and is just cringed whenever she's on screen. I do not care about idiot head Theo and his quest to find the leftover breadcrumbs with his retarded sidekick. It is completely meaningless, and the whole crap fest ends with Theo getting like, what, a manure-sized piece of food? Pointless! I do not care about Bronwyn or Bronny or big old Bron trying to quell her people and take charge. She's a terrible actress, first of all, and I honestly can't tell her and Airsoft. I honestly can't tell Bronny and Airsoft apart half the time because I don't go by height, age, or color. I go by amount of how much of a crap I don't give, which makes them both completely identical.
Because I don't go by height or age, I go by amount of pain in my ass, which makes you both identical.
Plus, why is going to an elven watchtower gonna save a whole colony of people? That would be like the equivalent of all America's homeless people going to the Empire State Building for food and shelter. It's dumb.
That's dumb. You're dumb.
All of it is manufactured. It has literally nothing, and I mean literally nothing in the most literal sense of the word literal. Literally nothing to do with anything that Tolkien wrote, and all of it is completely overdone. It's like you guys couldn't find a way to make the story actually interesting, so you decided to go with quantity over quality, which, as proved by Disney and Marvel, is always the wrong way to go. If you cut out all of the filler plot lines that go nowhere in the Rings of Piddle, then we would probably only have one episode in right now. But we're not. We're 4 hours in, and I couldn't give a literal rat's poop nugget about anything that is going on.
We're gonna die of boredom.
Gee whiz, I'm getting dehydrated. You know what I did have an investment in? Elrond getting Durin to help out with building the tower. But guess what? This episode just completely skips over all of the build-up that they themselves set up and got me interested in by showing just, the dwarves decided to help, I guess, here we are, now we're just helping. And it went straight into building up another controversy in its own story with the absolute palpable setup for a Balrog to make an appearance eventually. Never mind how interesting it was to see the steps needed to be taken for the elves and the dwarves to work in harmony, and the intrigue that would accompany this kind of debacle. That's how bad this show is. All of the stuff that I am intrigued by just goes by the wayside so we can get to the stuff that we think the fans came to see, which is mindless action, special effects, and woke empowerment. Nah, we just want to see the Balrog in this show so we can get the seals to clap for us when they see it. Newsflash, JD Dumbo and Patrick Dilettante, Tolkien fans are not Star Wars fans. We don't go along with callbacks to other pieces of media and think they are sophisticatedly put here to make the subject more meaningful. We think they are stupid and need to be torn down for all that they are worth. In fact, we're now disgusted by them because we know the motivation behind it. And if we show them some stuff that they already love, then we'll get them to associate their love with this dump truck residue. It is infuriating how dumb you think your audience is. Your audience is mostly composed of people that have the mental capacity to read an upward of 5,000 pages of lore, lineage, geography, epic storylines, culture, and mythos for the sole reason that they love it. We know what we're talking about. We knew what we read, and we also know what has already been on screen. While not perfect, is infinitely better than your cinematic-induced bile. What you are making callbacks to will always be superior to this argle-bargle, and it will never live up. Speaking of callbacks, this episode had the absolute biggest truckload of them in comparison to all the other episodes. Just watch.
A scattered, divided, leaderless.
His people are scattered, leaderless.
When he announced plans to...
We are proud to fight alongside men once more.
Let Numenor fight alongside the elves once more.
We fear to use it.
Palantir.
They are not.
You need it.
You need it. They are coming.
They are coming.
You are so jealous of the success of the Peter Jackson films that you are referencing him at every turn. Envy is not a pretty color on you morons. It is nothing but pathetic. Like I said, we aren't Star Wars fans that want to have a parade every time a character says a line from another time in the series or source material. And there he said the thing, which made my brain make a happy. It's cringy, and how dare you think that that would work on us?
How dare you!
The stupidity of the show just seems to multiply itself with every scene as well. Yeah, you thought Galadriel was cool when she killed a troll and swam 80 bazillion miles? Now check out her Tempest. Cringe dialogue, by the way. Now watch her 5'3", 150 pound Cuddy literally push and shove 4 Numenorian armored out soldiers into a cage. She literally just shoves them in.
Hey, phrasing!
Are you flipping kidding me right now? I'm just speechless at the power and magnitude behind this absolute pygmy. You could have at least choreographed a fight scene where she has to take them down one by one, but no, all it takes was some shoving? Shoving? You guys have swords! How in the flagonistic fire fart did they not overpower her? They should have been able to take her down in 2.5 seconds. She's a literal midget, and these guys are Numenorian soldiers, and she just pushes them into the cage. I could not believe it when I saw it. Only time I've ever rewinded Rings of Power was when this crap happened.
You serious?
Again, the attributes of a Mary Sue, people. Later accompanied by Karen Ladriel breaking into Muriel's father's bedchamber and just being forgiven, cause she's a strong female character, and I understand why she made that decision. Then we see that they have also turned Pharazôn, the man that usurped the throne of Numenor and led a rebellion against the literal gods of Middle-earth, into a wimpy pushover who's scared to draw his sword in the presence of an elf half his size. Not to mention that we have now given one of the most iconic characters the character to literally kill Sauron the first time, a girly nickname. Isil? Isil. I'm getting Annie vibes from the Revenge of the Sith. Let's take the most badass character we can find and give him the name of a defenseless baby, shall we? Oh yeah, let's also have Elendil crack a joke to be met with ornery glaring and resentful silence, too. Is there not a single male character that was powerful and intimidating in the lore that you won't just neuter? Give them their balls back! They did nothing to deserve this chicanery! Damn you hacks, you're ruining everything! Son of a bitch! That's how you can tell my arguments are getting crazy, is because my hair actually even gets in on the action.
Whoa, is my hair out?
And on with the rapid fire woke stupidity as well. I knew that the Dumbo Arad was just going to be another straight white evil guy because the show is so predictable you could bet on it more than you could bet on a dog pooping in a yard. Token characters good, but every bad guy better be white. And of course we had to add polarization that was literally built up in 2.5 seconds between the people people of Numenor by dividing them into the peaceful, likable, strong, empowering types and the angry, MAGA white men that don't want the elves to be taking their jobs.
They took our jobs! They took our jobs! They took your jobs! They took your jobs! Took your jobs!
Seriously? Could you be any more transparent? Good land, this is stupid. Let's make up yet another trumped-up conflict to not only pad out the runtime, but to draw a clear line in the sand on where we stand politically. Wonderful. You're all idiots doing idiot things because you're idiots.
Idiots doing idiot things because they're idiots.
The polarization of Numenor came about because there was a group of people seduced by Sauron to resent the elves for their immortality, not because they were afraid of their jobs being stolen. But by all means, let's just throw Tolkien's message of love and virtue onto the fire of wokeism, shall we? We already burnt his corp up, basically, at this point. Why not twist and warp his messages for our own selfish gain? It's just not a surprise anymore. Also, talk about cringe. This whole singing montage with Diza was added for no other purpose than to eat up runtime and make strong, diverse female character have something to do. Other than that, she's basically completely useless, and I'm not even going to get into the stupid amount of secrecy that happens with this contrived scenes, because it was all, yet again, a pointless quarrel to give the viewers a fake sense of urgency, only to be resolved nigh immediately. The show also continues to just shower itself in its own farts by dragging out this chase scene, and every scene that we can figure to put some sort of slow motion in. Remember when slow motion accompanied by worthwhile vocals and music was actually impactful? Well, it's now rampant and a dime a dozen in Rings of Pillsbury. Why is this so slow? Why am I supposed to care about them literally just running from some orcs? When this amount of detail and grandeur occurred in Peter Jackson's trilogy, it was to convey some sort of message, whether it be love or hope or hopelessness or loss. Not just, orcs are coming and we've got to get out of here. It was so laborious. I also meant to mention this in my last review, but not only do the elves not look anything like the angelic mythical creatures in the lore, but Numenorians are basically just medieval townsfolk from Monty Python's Holy Grail. Nothing like the godlike warlords that Tolkien described. Aragorn was just one of their descendants, and Tolkien described him as the powerful king and heir to Gondor, wielding Anduril with power and majesty. And these are his descendants?
Disappointed!
Talk about a massive step down. This looks nothing like an epic ancient city inhabited by literal giants of power among men. Oh yeah, and Numenor also doesn't even have an actual army, so they literally just round up farmers and potters and blacksmiths, even though they are the civilization that almost single-handedly destroyed the forces of Sauron in the Second Age before the forging of the Rings of Power, but we're not gonna go over that. Oh yeah, there's a small detail. The show is 4 episodes in now, and we still haven't seen a single ring. We also haven't seen a single good scene, not followed by buttloads of stupid either. Crap! Also, I forgot to add this part in, so I'm just going to ad-lib it, but here's a movie that you should watch instead of episode 4 of Rings of Power. You should go and watch, invest your time in Better Call Saul. It takes on the character of Saul Goodman. It's all about his, basically, background and his origins as to becoming the character that we see him in Breaking Bad, and it establishes new wonderful characters and really amazing writing by Vince Gilligan. And I've been rewatching it recently because I have to basically prepare myself to watch season 6, and it is so well done. It is so much better than Rings of Prime ever has. Better Call Saul has no right to be as good as it is. So instead of watching Rings of Power, go watch that. You will not be disappointed. And no, you don't need to watch Breaking Bad in order to watch it. It's so good it can stand by itself. Please check it out. And there you have it, my friends. The showrunners are continuing to show that they have no idea how to craft a meaningful narrative, and this show is bound to continue failing magnificently. It is dross of the highest order, and I am loving every second that I get to pat myself on the back for predicting its plunge into retardation. Tolkienistic media may never recover, and to be honest, I hope it never does. The greatest stories have already been told by much more talented brains, and anything short of their glory is basically nothing more than absurdity. Anyway, I'm literally about to sit down and agonize through episode 5, so stick around for the channel for that torture, alright? Peace out, nerds! Bang, 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 bang!
Bang, 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 click, click, reload, bang, bang, bang. Can't stand it.